Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wicked Art. It's Wicked here, and it is time for our Monday art lesson. We're continuing with our anatomy. So we started off with the torso, and now we're going to move on, and then we moved on to the arms. So now we're going to move on to the legs. Okay. Now the legs, in my opinion, are a lot easier than most other things because as long as you get the shapes down to them, it's not as complicated to draw. But what we are going to do is the same thing I did before. We're going to break down the muscle groups first. So first thing I'm going to start with though is we're going to kind of start with the just the pelvic region, just so you know where to connect your legs. So we're just going to kind of just draw in a basic pelvic shape, and then from there we're going to have part of the glute or buttocks area muscles. They're going to kind of wrap around the side of the body here, right? And then we're going to have our thigh muscles, which are the muscles in the front. Those are going to kind of arch their way around. And I want you to pay attention to, like, after I work the muscles in, just what the shapes are that really make those up. Because then once you learn that, it becomes a lot easier to draw legs. Once you understand how the shapes of the thigh and the calf and all that stuff work together, drawing legs becomes a lot simpler as far as getting the basics of design. Now I'm kind of arching this around the kneecap here. So we're going to take this down and we're going to slim that down just a little bit. So the thigh muscles are divided up into various different muscles that make up the leg, or I should say parts of the muscle. And then you have things like your groin ligament right here, and then your inside groin right in there. So you can see these are all the muscles that break down the thigh. Okay, and then I can come in here and we can just kind of draw a circle for our kneecap. And then you want to think about, there's this little bit of ligament right down here that runs right down into the calf, which bows out and comes down towards the foot. Okay, so we have our actual ligament here that connects down into our knee. And then we have the rest of the calf muscle itself running down the front of our tibia, which is the front bone. Let's kind of arch that just a little bit more. All right. We're also going to have, that bone structure right inside of here. And we can kind of curve that muscle down. This is going to kind of represent the bone structure down in there. And then we have the inner calf. So the key thing or takeaway from the inner calf and outer calf is the outside is going to be a little bit bigger while the inside one's going to sit a little bit higher. And again, once you get those shapes down, you're really going to understand how it all works better. Okay, now the rest of it, we're not talking about feet today. So we're just going to kind of draw in some lazy feet just because we're not focused on that today. Now, a lot of people tend to separate the legs, which is fine when you do a cartoon or maybe it's a super skinny person or female. But our muscles actually tend to touch each other and overlap. So we're going to kind of put a bend in the leg here. So again, it's just going to kind of show a little bit of our quadricep back here. we're going to have that long ligament right in here on the side. And that's going to come down. And then that muscle is just going to build in. So we're not going to do like a super bunch of angles on muscle construction today, just because they're pretty, like, the reason why I'm focusing on the front is because the front has way more muscle detail than the back of the leg usually tends to have. So as long as you get this outline shape, then you should be okay. All right. But again, I would suggest though just taking a look at those muscles and just seeing like how they sit, because if you draw somebody like huge like the Hulk or something like that, that could then be a point where you definitely want to, you know, draw those leg muscles in place. But again, just looking at these different angles just depends on how much of a particular muscle we're going to see. So you can see I took the calf there, and we're going to kind of round out and bring that down. And that kind of wraps around that way, right down into there. So that part is here on that part of the leg. Okay. And then that all runs down into the wrist part of where everything connects to the foot down there. All right, and so again, I'm not focused on feet today, so I don't need super detailed toes or feet. This is the part we're focused on, so our legs. So once we have our leg muscles down, okay, once you get used to drawing them from different angles and stuff, then it becomes a lot easier. But here's a method that you can use to really kind of help yourself out. So let's say we're starting to draw, you know, legs from different angles, you know, whether it's like, remember what we did with the arms, right? So for females, we want to make things skinnier. So let's say we're making a female leg. So we're not necessarily making it skinnier, we're just making it more refined, or less muscular. Okay. So now I have basically just gotten that outer portion of the leg here. And then I can come in right where you get to this little point of overlap right here in the knee. That's where you can start, again, just thinking about those shapes to help you build out what it is that you need. Again, I'm not worried about the feet today. My main focus is the legs. But you know, if you want to help kind of sell, you know, with and get an idea of like what things look like and how rounded they should be, drawing these little kind of like stripes on there can help you really see, you know, how it looks. So again, I kind of get that knee in there. So what I would suggest doing is maybe look up models of different people. And that'll help you, you know, kind of decide from there what poses you want to put things in. And again, you're going to just strictly focus on muscle groups first. Then you can build up like this and see what it looks like with the roundness, and then you can go and take it and start working on various poses that'll help you with your characters later, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But you want to see how like muscles fold over each other by just playing around, right? So I can come in here and like we could add a foot, like it's bent right in here, right? Just seeing different ways that it's all going to fit or squeeze together. Again, you can work on different like sizes of things. So like somebody who's super skinny, or maybe somebody who's got a ton of muscle, like I said, like before, like the Hulk. But you can see how I'm kind of using these shapes that I know in my head from practicing with the muscles. And that's what's helping me build these different poses with the legs. So again, if you wanted to kind of see where that sits on the body, you can always draw in like this little underwear shape. That usually tends to help. Like I said, you just want to come in and just, once you really have these 3 steps down, just start looking at different action poses and stuff. And just focus on the legs themselves. So you can see how I'm getting that whole outside area just because I know what it's supposed to look and be shaped like. I'm just taking that down. And just play with your shapes. Again, think about areas for whether they're fat, they're skinny, how those folds are gonna look. Especially make sure that you focus on practicing the different types of people out there. Just from the standpoint, you never know, you may come up with a character who's like I said, they're meant to be really big, and you don't want to have some crazy thing going on. Okay, so for lack of a better term, this is going to seem very repetitive, but again, you want to study muscles first. Okay, we'll do pose and structure, and the structure part is having these lines kind of tell you, and then 3 will just be pose and less detail. Okay, so you're just going to kind of go for your muscles, then work on pose and structure, and then your poses with less detail to see if you can really get out those shapes. And once we're done with all this little step into doing all that, you're going to want to make sure we get into clothes and stuff, showing how that stuff hangs, but that'll come later once we start learning how to do more dynamic poses and stuff. So like I said, same thing as last week, you just really want to make sure you get in there and just study these muscle groups front, back, side, and just really seeing, how the leg is, structured. Because like when you're putting in, your muscles from the side, you have that kind of, wrap around, portion to the front. But the key thing is where it all connects to the actual bone in your legs. Especially seeing how, like, the buttocks or butt muscle, not really sure what YouTube allows me to say on here, but seeing those different ligament points come down and just knowing how those muscle groups are set up will help you kind of learn to build, again, the structure of what it is you're trying to create, right? So again, practice it from all angles, right? I hope you learned something. I hope you're enjoying this little anatomy. If you want any more lessons like this or on anything else, let me know down in the comments. Not too many people are really watching the videos anymore. And I mean really watching. Views are different from actually watching. Nobody's really watching them all the way through or practicing. And that's fine. I'll continue to make videos, but just let me know down in the comments what you want to see, and that'll really help out. Okay, I would really like to continue doing this channel. I also have projects and stuff that I want to work on, but I want to make sure I can get these lessons out. But if nobody's really going to be watching, then I'm probably going to start cutting back on videos just so I can finish my projects out. But again, I'm here for y'all. These lessons are for you. I really do appreciate every last one of you. I do, to those who are watching. I love having students. I love teaching. So until next time, remember to practice this. Okay, practice this. You can share your work with me on Twitter. But remember, until next time, keep on sketching, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.